He's the Army's most decorated serving soldier and has been in every major British war zone in the last 30 years. He's been ambushed twice, shot at, stabbed and almost caught up in a fatal friendly fire incident. So why, at the age of 50, is Squadron Corporal Major Mick Flynn planning to go to Afghanistan for a third tour of duty? I asked him that very question when he came in earlier today.
Recently I got promoted to the Squadron Corporal Major, W02. That's the highest rank you can get within the squadron for a non-commissioned officer. And it's a massive honour for me to take my squadron away on operations. This
will be your third time of going to Afghanistan. The first time you went in 2006, there's a report you may have heard about today in the Times. It's very critical of the planning of when British troops went into Helmand in 2006. In the Times newspaper it says that military chiefs from the MOD ignored warnings that they were ill-prepared to go into Helmand. Criticisms they underestimated the threat of the Taliban, that there weren't enough troops. What was your impression at the time?
Before we got out there, we was told by one of the people in the government that we'd probably hardly fire a bullet. When I was down to my last piece of 7.62 for the machine gun, a type of ammunition, when I was down to my last box after having fired 3,000 rounds, I knew that was obviously a massive mistake. I think personally that they weren't prepared to go at that stage. They didn't realise the enormity of the task which they had to do.
You write about all of your experiences in your new book, Bullet Magnet. Why were you called that?
It came over in a conversation. It did have a different name. However, we subsequently changed it to Bullet Magnet because I seem to attract a lot of fire wherever I am.
You're a very lucky man because we were talking earlier, you've cheated death 5 times. Why do you think you've had that luck so far?
I think it's the training that you receive and the type of vehicles that we've had has enabled me to survive various attacks whilst I've been out there.
You were awarded the Conspicuous Gallantry Cross and the Military Cross. The MC in particular for 2 things, but one, an incident in which you rescued household cavalryman Martin Compton, who was badly burned in an ambush attack. Let's hear about how you actually write about that. We've got an actor to voice up your words.
The explosion had blasted all his clothing away except for his boots and his Matalan underpants. They were scarlet like the rest of him. Thinking he was dead, I laid a hand on his leg, trying to straighten the limb. Compo let out a long, blood-curdling yell. He was alive. He screamed again and again and kept on screaming. I turned to Radders and shouted, "Let's get him out of here."
I mean, that was perhaps one of the less graphic parts of your book in the bit we actually heard just then. Why do you write so graphically about the incidents, and does it actually help you get over them?
I think it's because it's the way it is. It's actually a lot of punches are pulled when books are written normally, and I just write it as it really is.
Does it help you?
It helps me. It's me just telling the truth. So if it's graphic, and I use quite a lot of strong language, obviously, because that's the way that soldiers react and talk and get on with each other. So I'm just writing it from a soldier's point of view.
Prince William has paid you some very nice compliments in the last week or so, and about the book as well. A superlative soldier. How do you react to that kind of compliment?
He's a nice guy, actually. He's the on-side, and obviously he was one of our officers. But he's a down-to-earth kind of guy. He'll go and make the brews like anybody else will. You know, he has a laugh and a joke with the lads, but he's also a very good all-round soldier.
When you go out this time to Afghanistan, you're going to have 117 men under your command, many of them younger than your own sons. How do you feel about that?
Nowadays, there is no ageism in the army, and now, because of the way that the army's changed, you can now join up to the age of 32. 33. Now, if you do 22 years as a normal service soldier, that's going to take you up to 55. So actually, I'm a youngster, being 50. I've still got 5 more years to go.
Squadron Corporal Major Mick Flynn speaking to me earlier. Now,